and welcome to the Watching Now podcast from Couch Soup. Boom, 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 boom. We're back. We're back, baby. And we've been watching Alien Earth this week because that's a thing.
Yep.
Like the aliens are on Earth
hmm
way before the Alien show film.
Two
But
years.
that 2 years, 2 years,
2 years prior.
only 2 years. That's
Only two
interesting.
years. hmm
Hmm.
hmm
Yeah, you know what? That's going to be a bone of contention for it on this podcast at some point, but
Yeah.
not for me. It's not for
No,
me.
not for me either.
I have thoughts about that, but let's move that to the side for a second. Let's should be introducing our panel today, which is Katie.
Hi, just me.
Just Katie. And I'm Ian, you know me. I've been on loads of stuff before. We have a third person who couldn't make it today, but they will be on the podcast unless they nope out after the second episode, which is a possibility.
It's a very real possibility.
It's a 50-50 chance that they will never be on this show.
Maybe I like the misery.
We will see.
We will see. Katie, I'm going to do something a little bit different this
Oh,
time.
wow.
What's your background with the Alien franchise?
Oh gosh, not much. So, during the pandemic, I was a part, along with Lily, shall we met.
Hmm.
I was a part of a group that was doing weekly movie watching stuff. Um, and it was the way I watched a whole bunch of movies I'd never seen, some of which were Alien and Aliens, because I had never seen them before. And they were kind of those one of, big blind spots. I have a lot of big blind spots in terms of my film, not knowledge, but like just things I've seen. Like
Hmm.
I know of the films, but I haven't seen a lot of the ones that a lot of people consider to be like classics and or like must watch, like best films of all time sort of thing. And Alien was absolutely in there for a while, but yeah, we watched Alien and we watched Aliens. I liked Aliens much better than Alien. I have a thing with some of the ways that Ridley Scott makes movies. I find them to be a bit slow sometimes. I found the same thing with Blade Runner when I watched it until the last like third, when they're
Hmm.
running around the house, and I was like, this shit's good. But I know it's part of the point for when it comes to Alien, it's like the tension building of the whole thing, and but like it wasn't like I was going in and being extremely surprised by anything that was going on because it's one of the most famous
Yeah.
sci-fi films of all time. You kind of can't get away from spoilers, and also it's not really a whole lot to spoil in Alien. As an alien, a lot of
Not
people
now.
die.
I'm sure it was like back in 1979 when the
Right,
when the
yeah,
first
sure.
one came out. But like now,
Like
it was
nearly 20
Xenomorph.
years before I was even born. Nearly 20 years. Not exactly. And then I liked Aliens a lot more. I liked it. I thought it was fun and had a great action vibe in it. And then, funnily enough, 5 years ago, as of today, not 5 years ago, 1 year ago, where have I got
Hmm.
five from? 1 year ago, as of today, I saw Alien Romulus,
Oh,
where and then we talked about it over
we
on
did.
my podcast, To All the Films We Judged Before. But that's basically my entire relationship with the Alien franchise. I've not engaged with it that much. I don't know. I'm not a super fan by any stretch of the imagination, but I can appreciate it for what it is. I was interested in this series specifically because I'm a fan of Noah Hawley as a
Mm.
writer and as a director and a creative, who's in it. I wasn't expecting him to show up. Just small
Wait, wait,
spoiler.
wait. I didn't clock because I don't know what directors look like.
He
So,
he's their dad. Yeah, that's Noah
ah,
Hawley.
okay, got you.
But I was a big fan of Legion when it came out, especially the first season of Legion. So when I saw Noah Hawley's name attached to it, I was like, yeah, I'm in. I'll watch that.
Yeah.
That sounds good. But yeah, I haven't seen Prometheus. I haven't done any of the other ones. I'm never playing Alien Isolation because I think it might kill me. I don't do very well with like tension a lot of the
Oh,
time.
well, that's
Well,
that's
it depends
we.
on the tension. If it's video game, like specifically in
Yeah, yeah,
video
yeah, I
games,
got you.
anything that's like something may jump out at you at any point in time, I'm like, I'm going to die. There will just be too much adrenaline in my body and I'll have a heart
Hmm.
attack. So I just don't. I'm like, I appreciate that exists and that people really like it, and they say it's really good, but I'm never gonna play it myself.
Fair.
Um, So yeah, so I was just, the I was intrigued by this more than anything else.
Nice. I liked Alien again. Aliens is my favorite film out of the franchise. I've liked that since I got the box set in uni. I had never watched it up until uni. And I watched like all of them because Alien versus Predator 2 had just come out,
Mm,
which, you can say what you want about Alien versus Predator. The first one is a really good time. It's a bad film, but in a good way. The second one's rubbish. But like the Alien in general is like it's like a comfort thing for me more than anything.
mm,
That's why Aliens for me is better than Alien
mm,
because Alien is a horror film with lots
mm.
of like tension. Aliens is a straight up action movie and it's great.
It's a proper romp. It's great.
Exactly. So that's where I come into this is that I was just itching for some more Xenomorphs. I
Mm.
liked you Romulus last year. It was pretty good. And I was just wondering what a TV show could do with this concept. So before we go into spoilers,
Hmm.
let's go into your like initial thoughts. What did you think overall of the first two episodes?
I liked them in sort of a growing capacity. I liked the first episode sort of fine. I was like, yeah, this is interesting. A little long for me personally. I don't intend to like an episode of television that goes over an hour. It just I at a certain point I start dragging so I was a bit like, okay, it's done a very good job of setting up the world and all of the creatures and all this sort of stuff. But I just literally watched episode two as of about of 2 hours ago. And I liked that a lot more, especially as I've been in a sort of like, because been a long week, so I'm a bit tired. And I was like, right, I really have to sit down and watch this. But like, in that way of like, oh, I've got a bit of an obligation to watch this. I don't know how interested I am in like doing this right now. And then I kind of got into it. I was like, no, this is actually pretty good.
Why, that's very good. Yes, I like that.
Now that they've gotten all of the like world building setup out of the way, they can focus in on the cool stuff. Um,
Yeah.
Plus, I thought the second episode had a lot more interesting interpersonal dynamics that I was very interested in. But yeah, if it keeps going in this direction, I think I'm going to really like it by the end. But so far, so good.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Yeah.
I'm with you. I
Yeah.
really liked this. I really, really liked this. There's some weirdness going on,
Yes.
which I quite like, but
Mm.
also it's really weird in
Yeah.
places. But I thought that the production seemed like good quality.
Yeah.
It didn't like FX generally does this like tries to be high quality, but sort of just misses a lot of the time.
Mm.
Um, but this one seems to be right up there, and I just liked it. There's a lot of stuff going on. There's a lot of good interpersonal relationships. I like political intrigue, which they're setting up but hasn't really got there yet.
Hmm.
I just really liked it. And every time you trap someone in a building,
Hmm.
and put loads of monsters in, you get like a good film out of it.
Yeah, I would agree. Spoilers.
Spoilers,
Yeah.
well, but like it's not massive spoilers, like little spoilers.
No, I'm saying we should move on to spoilers.
We should, yeah, we should definitely go into spoilers. Let's go into spoilers there. Let's go into spoilers. Can we deal with the opening crawl first? I know there's not a lot to say here, but
Mm.
there's a lot of it's an information dump, which is
Yes.
like new lore for the alien universe that we've
Okay.
not seen before. So
Hmm.
the opening crawl says like there's three attempts for extending human life. One is synths, which
Hmm.
we already know about.
Yep.
That's Ash. That's the David. We don't talk about David. And the people we've already seen, the
Mhm.
white blood people.
Mhm.
You got cyborgs who are basically humans, um, but with enhancements,
Okay.
like Morrow that we
Hmm.
see later on, with his weird metal hand and that can is like a multi-tool
Hmm.
um, penknife thing. Um, and then you've got this one that nobody knows about yet, which is hybrids,
Yes. I couldn't
where
remember
it's
any all of the names before because I was writing my notes down and I was like, what are they actually called again? I've actively forgotten already.
Well, that's what you get when you do it in an opening crawl in the
Yeah.
first episode, which is like new law dump shit. So that hybrids are basically synths, but with an downloaded human consciousness.
Hmm.
And there's five companies that are trying to rule the world. One of them is Weyland Yutani that we already know about because they're the big bad guys in
Hmm.
every Alien film.
Yep.
And then there's four others, including this one guy called Prodigy. Lore dump over.
Mm.
Lots of lore dump though in like 2 frames. So
Which honestly, I will say is impressive. Just to
yes.
like get that much information across in like that small amount of time. It's like, listen, here's a couple of bits and pieces that you need to know. Here's 2 pages of like maybe 10 lines each about it. And now you have all the information we can get going. And it's like that's and one of my notes in here is actually I wrote down afterwards that I think Noah continues to employ a real economy of writing that I will continuously find impressive because he did the same in Legion, and he was very good at that
Yeah.
in Legion as well. Which is just and it's just nice to see a writer who is able to convey exactly the amount of information that you need in quite minimal space without making it seem obtuse.
Hmm.
Like you can extrapolate information and like you clearly don't have everything, but you have enough to be like that's interesting, and I can hang my hat on that and kind of keep an eye on it for as we're going. I should also say I haven't seen Fargo, but it's one of those ones that I've meant to watch for ages, and I also hear is very, very good.
The first
But
series was definitely good. I watched the second series. That was good as well. And then I fell off because it's an anthology thing, and it
yeah,
felt like you could just pick it up whenever.
pretty much, yeah. But I believe yeah, he's very good at that. He's very good at being precise with his language and the way he wants people to talk and how much information he's trying to get across.
We have an echo of the first Alien film,
Mm.
basically for the first 5 minutes, which
Yeah.
is the same ship, basically the Maginot instead of the Nostromo.
Hmm.
Um, Although it's more of a research science vessel than a deep mining ship.
Right.
Um, and you have like an enhanced dude who's obviously a little bit evil
Hmm.
called Morrow. He's a cyborg, though not synth.
Hmm.
They were trying to like place the blame on another dude first. They were
Who
like saying
was the synth? Yeah.
yeah, and he was like, and they were like, he's weird, and he just get out of here, you know. But yeah, we get more of a lore dump, and then like flashes before the opening credits of
Yeah, I did have a little thing about that where I was like, I can't tell how I feel about the editing in
mm,
places, but I think it was better in the second episode, personally. But that first episode, I was like, this feels a little bit over the top, just a bit with the all of the overlaid shots, which again there are more of in the second episode, but also I wrote what I can only describe as the bad foreshadowing editing.
okay, fair.
Have you seen those memes?
No,
No, there's like there are these things on Instagram and I'm assuming TikTok as well. I'm not on TikTok, but like there are videos of like somebody about to do something and then they just keep cutting in like the moment it happens in between,
I've not
like
seen
the
it.
build up to it. It was like that's just that, and I know. And I can see how it could be effective, but I think the fact that I know of that meme has just completely ruined like that as like a storytelling device to
Yeah,
me. Because I was kind of sitting there going like, okay. I get the idea.
and like we see some more foreshadowing in just before that the opening crawl with some like monsters in cages,
Hmm.
some creepy little bugs, some creepy little octopus eye thing, which
Yeah, they
that
seem
you,
real proud of that.
yeah, you messaged that in our group chat saying they're really proud of that octopus eye thing, aren't they? They're really proud of it,
They
and
kept bringing it
to be
up, and
fair,
I was like, I mean, fair enough, but also it feels like they're really like, hey, look at this one though. Look how
yeah.
cool this one is. Look how cool this
But
one is.
to be fair though, in the second episode, it got a little bit of a payoff.
Yeah, no, it did, to be fair.
You gotta say, I thought it was good foreshadowing.
Mm.
But then we go to the opening credits, and that's where I'm going to stop chronological order because it's too easy to go chronological order, and we'll be here for flipping 5 hours probably if we do it that way. Should we talk about Wendy first?
I really like her.
Yeah,
I really like her. I think Sydney Chandler is doing a really good job of the kind of portraying that like bright-eyed innocence of what is a child trapped in a well, not even trapped, but just housed in a in an adult body. And the little ways that she's like really excited about little certain things and all that sort of stuff. I think kind of ties into all of the Peter Pan references they've got going on, right? Which could be considered a little on the nose, but there is a commitment to it that I think makes it like work.
yeah.
Um
I
uh
just don't think you can. It's a very brave decision to go anywhere near a Neverland
right.
complex.
But I do think it's working.
Yeah,
I do because like it's not like it's being utilized as like, hey, this is kind of a fun framing device. It also has like thematic like relevance to everything
yeah.
because Neverland is a place where kids don't grow up and they're all in bodies that will never grow any older than they are and all this sort of stuff. So they're all it is very much like, hey, look, here's Wendy and here are all of her lost boys, and she's just sort of like kind of looking after them all and acting
Hmm.
as like their leader and all this sort of stuff. I'm like, yeah, it's done purposefully, and I think it does work with everything that's going on. It's not like it's being employed just as sort of like a gimmick. It's very much intentional to the thematic storytelling that is going on. Which means great, why not?
Yeah.
But I really enjoy watching the little ways that like she looks really excited about like certain little bits and pieces. I also like the fact that she doesn't immediately feel like Ripley.
Yeah, she's definitely not Ripley because Ripley's not stoic, but also like logical,
Mhm.
but like hardened. She is not logical or hardened,
No.
but like only in a physical sense is she
Yeah.
hardened because she has the abilities. She is sort of the most grown up out of the Lost Boys.
Yes, which
Maybe that's
also,
because
yeah.
of, yeah, because she's been in that body for the longest time,
Yeah.
but also maybe not. Maybe they're just their personalities are just like that. Yeah.
Well, then I think it also leans into the because obviously Wendy was always a little bit older than all of the other Lost Boys, generally
True.
speaking. So she does kind of fulfill not even like motherly, but like big sister role of being kind of like a little bit in charge and a little bit more wizened about the whole thing and a little bit more together than the rest of them are because the
Hmm.
rest of them still feel very much like young children and she feels a little bit more like somebody on their way to becoming an adult.
Yeah,
Um,
she's like 9 years old. The other ones are like 7 or 6.
I think in the second episode they say that she's just turned 12.
I don't know if she's acting like a 12-year-old.
I think kids.
Maybe different types of
I've
12-year-olds.
no
Yeah.
I've got no concept of it because 12-year-olds are not like they still have childish impulses, but they are a little bit more like together and a little bit more like adult and all this sort of stuff. But you also have to remember that like there's probably like an element of
Mm,
arrested development,
true.
even if she's like even if she's advanced in some ways, she isn't in other ways because of like just the environment that she's in. She's
Hmm.
not really being forced to grow up as opposed to like forced to or like given the tools to like become more intelligent. Like they're feeding her information, they're not feeding her like world wisdom, which it does imply something very interesting considering some of the conversation that you get between the boy genius and I don't know her name, the
The
woman who
doctor.
the doctor, who I like, and I
Hmm.
kind of am really hoping she doesn't turn out to be evil, in some way, shape, or form. Which I mean, she does work for sort of a trillionaire, like mega
Like,
genius, but like she feels like the moral center of
who
this entire
doesn't
thing
work
so
for
far.
a millionaire
Yeah.
mega genius in this
I mean,
world?
it's true, but she does work directly for him.
Yeah, true.
Is the other thing. But I like her and I like the perspective that she brings into the whole thing about like
Mm,
the importance of like maintaining humanity. Otherwise, what's the point in doing this? And I
yeah,
think it's a very important perspective to have like said loudly within the context of a
yeah,
show like this, which is discussing the and like playing with the themes of immortality, generally speaking. I can tell obviously Wendy fulfills the role that Ripley fulfills just as like the sort of
protagonist.
yeah protagonist but also like female character,
Mm,
like that kind of like front and center female character. But I do appreciate the fact that even in that she has a different type of strength that's already kind of coming out. She seems very like loyal and
yes,
and and which is not to say that Ripley wasn't loyal, but she's loyal in a very like
trusting as well.
trusting way. That's a good way of doing it. Like she's very much like up for it and a little bit bubbly about the whole thing and
When she was telling that other lost boy the secret that
yeah.
her brother was in that place where they were going,
Hmm.
and she was like, "It's a secret though, don't tell anybody." And then he just blurts it out to everybody that he sees. And she was like, "Dude, what? What are you doing? I trusted you." Oh.
Yeah.
But she would still trust him again. I'm
Yeah.
sure she would.
Yeah, no, and I actually I put that in there as well. I really liked the fact that just to switch gears a little bit, I liked the fact that that secret didn't get kept for like the
Mhm.
entire series because I feel like somebody else may have just been like, this is the thing that we get to reveal at the end of everything. But no, it's like second episode, it gets revealed to another character who immediately gets set up as a terrible secret keeper, and then that pays off by the end of the episode. I'm like, no, that's just great. Again, economy of writing, very well done.
Yeah.
Um,
It was a good way to get the secret out as well, because
yeah,
I know that she didn't want to tell
yeah,
Joe,
yeah,
but like she did at the same time. She
yeah.
did want it
It
to be
had to
known.
come from an outside force. It was never going to be like she confesses it in some way,
Hmm.
shape, or form. But she was also not doing a good job hiding it either.
No,
But like in a very endearing way of just sort of like she's just so excited to see him again. Yeah. No, I liked that whole thing a lot. It's one of the many things I liked a lot about not season two, episode two. Fucking brain.
To read makes our speaking English good.
Wendy's great. I
Wendy's
really
great.
like Wendy. Going on to the Lost Boys
Mm.
a little bit. Not seen a lot of them so far,
Hmm.
but can I just point out that they ran out of names for Lost Boys because one of them is called Smee, and that is not a Lost Boy. That is Captain Hook's right hand man. So
Hmm.
that is not a Lost Boy. It's the only thing that really annoyed me about that Boy stuff. They didn't
Hey,
commit too much to the bit because
I
they ran
do
out of Lost Boys.
I do wonder if that will come up later.
Or maybe like a turncoat, you
Yeah,
know?
potentially. I don't know.
You ran out of names.
But like I also like the idea that this kid was like, "Hey, you could choose like any name. You like here are all the Lost Boys." And he's like, "No, I want to be Smee."
Why do you want to be Smee though? Like what?
But like that's such a young boy thing to do, to just go for like the weird like I don't know, I'm just gonna go for that one because it's different, you know?
Yeah. Like yeah, again, committing to the bit, but it's did they commit to it because Wendy chose the name Wendy, or and they would like showing
I
Peter
don't
Pan while
know.
they were turning over, or it was just they wanted to be a gang like the Scoobies, or do you know like
I don't know. I don't think it's very specific, but I my immediate like instinct would be to say that like she suggested it. I think because she's meant to be there to like see she kind of was employed as like a tool to like smooth over the transition at a certain point. I think she probably was like, "Hey, look at this movie. We could like you guys could like pick names from this and all this sort of stuff." And they maybe like beforehand they all like watched it together and we're like, "Oh, I want to be this one. I want to be this one." And then kid was like, "I want to be
I want to
Smee."
be Smee. Like that's got to be a as an alarm bell going off saying maybe we don't give this kid like a hyper powered body if he
Nah.
wants to be fucking Smee. It's like one away from Can I be the TikTok croc, you know?
But like you have to also remember that I don't think the Prodigy particularly cares.
That's true.
I don't think he cares about it. Like as he said, all he wants is an interesting conversation, which I found that conversation that he had with the doctor to be so fascinating because he's there like it's not even about ego, and then proceeded to say the most egotistical thing ever, where he's like, I want somebody to blow my mind. And I'm like, okay, but that is ego.
Yeah.
You do know that, right?
Yeah. Everyone's so fucking dull. I don't have have a good conversation with anybody talking to someone directly at them saying you're boring.
hmm
You're basic.
You're basic. It's a human insult. It's devastating.
I want someone to challenge my thought processes so I can grow myself. He's obviously a dick.
Yeah, I do. I'm enjoying the performance of him, though. I think it's.
Yeah.
I think it could be very easily overdone, and I think he's playing it like just right. I think he's riding that line of being kind of childlike in his own way as well. But also I think you can tell the intelligence, even if he's not said anything specifically that like feels like hyper intelligent. I think that there's something about the attitude
Mm.
that it comes across very well. Which again, I think comes across in the economy of writing that is going on for
He's
sure.
like 2 octaves below a Willy Wonka type. You know?
Mm,
Like he looks like he's got that mania in him, but he's not like singing and dancing. You know,
right,
he's just like a little bit chill Willy Wonka, you know. Which also fits with the Neverland Ranchy type stuff as well.
for sure. I like his stuff a lot. I like the way that he's sort of draped over things in a slightly like if Marcy is Wendy,
Hmm.
does that mean that he's Peter Pan in this
See,
metaphor? Because I was wondering, I was like, comes? But he would, I guess he would be because he's the one who brings them in and like and kind of like
yeah, and they
lead
do call
his
him the boy
boy
genius.
genius. Yeah,
You know,
I feel like that is probably the closest we can get to it. I don't think there's going to be anybody else who comes across as like specifically
a
um
boy cavalier,
like
sometimes
Cavalier.
called him as
hmm
well. So yeah, it does feel like he's the Peter Pan, even though and he's got the magic, I suppose.
hmm
But so does that mean the Doctor's like Tinkerbell? Um,
Maybe,
and maybe
but
that's
I don't think
Kersh.
she's mean enough to be Tinkerbell. Tinkerbell was kind of a dig.
That's true. So it's Kersh then. Kersh is the Tinkerbell.
Yeah. We did this before we started recording, but one of my notes in my thing is Timothy Olyphant's bleached eyebrows are scaring me. They are just the whole look is just slightly unnerving because I know what Timothy Olyphant looks like and it's not that.
I do want to go back to Timothy Olyphant's Kersh because there's a couple of interesting things about Kersh, but I just want to go quickly back to the Boy Wonder and his conversation with Utani.
That was fun.
That was a fun conversation. Never seen Utani on screen before.
I was gonna say this is the first time we've had like the name put to a person.
Yes.
Um, which just
We
also made me go, who's Wayland?
Oh no, we do know that
Do we know?
in Prometheus, which you haven't seen,
Oh, right.
and
Then
it's Guy Pearce.
oh, okay. Yeah, all right. I
Yeah.
can see that.
But yeah, Utani's there. There was a little back and forth saying we're going to send our troops in to get to recover our stuff, and the Boy Wonder's like, no, you're fucking not.
Do that and I'll cross you.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that was just a fun little conversation. I love the bit of him holding I mean it's an iPad basically, but
Mhm.
the pad between his feet on the bed.
Yeah.
Again, very childlike. I really the more I think about it, the more I'm like, this metaphor actually does work quite well.
Yeah.
And it is being utilized quite impressively.
He's so relaxed about it. He's just wriggling around on the bed, just like holding it upside down and stuff, and just to he must be getting a rise out of it, but like
Oh yeah, that was just a fun conversation. I
it
don't really
was.
have much to say. I feel like obviously it will probably have more. We might have more to say about it later, but yeah, I did enjoy it as a moment in the episode.
I know. I think it's also quite interesting that he's let his Lost Boys out for a test run.
Mm.
Um, because like the secrets are secrets at the end of the day. This is
I also had a moment because they show him looking through the eyes of the various
Mm,
all of his little, test subjects, I guess.
yeah.
Which means he must have seen the conversation that Wendy had with her brother, where she basically tells him everything, and it doesn't seem like he cares.
Maybe he just thinks that we'll deal with that later. He's under NDA anyway, I'm
Mm.
guessing because he works
Yeah.
for him already.
Hmm.
And maybe we'll just deal with that once, they're out.
I also like the idea that he's not like entirely fussed about the proprietary information. Like he'd be more annoyed if it went to like somebody who doesn't like outside of that sort of space. But like
Mhm.
anybody else, he's like, yeah, look how cool I am, look how clever I am, look what I
Yeah.
made, sort of a thing. Um, Plus, I think the idea of like seeing how that would affect him, it might be like of interest. I'm not sure. I am extrapolating things that have not been said in the
Mhm.
in the episode, but I do find the implications very interesting.
Back to Kersh then. Timothy Olyphant's stupid blonde, bleach blonde hair. I am finding him very interesting because he is very, very cold. Like
Hmm.
more cold than we've seen any android on screen.
Mm.
I'm guessing he's a synth. I'm pretty sure he's a synth, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's a synth. Yeah.
Um, because he's like that one moment when all the Lost Boys are going down the corridor and they see the like deadly flower thing,
Hmm.
and he goes, "Fear is for animals. You're not animals."
I do think that he represents the other side of the spectrum to the Doctor,
Mhm.
basically. So she represents like pushing for a more human approach, and he's pushing for more like, well, they're not humans. Why are we making them be humans? They should be more like me, kind of a thing. So
Yeah.
you have like both ends of the spectrum. Could be something said to be said about the fact that the Doctor is a woman and she's pushing for a more human approach, and the synthetic is represented as a man and is pushing for like a lot more of a, but like I feel like these are things to bring up considering the like HR Geiger of it all. Like
Hmm.
there is a sex like um uh aspect and like a biological like aspect to the whole thing, which gender blah blah blah, blah, blah. But like I do think it's an interesting thing to note as like these are the perspectives that are coming out.
As a counterpoint,
Okay.
at the start of episode one, Marcy wants to kill the Scorpion.
Mm,
Kersh does not want to kill the Scorpion. Now, is that parallel to Ash in Aliens, where in Alien, where very dangerous thing, just an animal. We need to study it. We need to protect it because it's a perfect organism type
mm.
stuff, or is it because all life is sacred? You know?
I would the way that Kersh comes across, I think it's a level of like um curiosity, of like of cold logical curiosity, of like there's no point in letting emotions cloud the decisions that we make when we could be getting information. That's
Mhm.
the impression that I get from it. So it becomes more of the other side to it is like the spectrum goes from like human to robot essentially. But yeah, I do think that the idea of tying that to certain gender presentations is also kind of interesting in the alien thing where the big alien has a penis for a head.
Well, yeah, yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it does. It looks like a penis, and we know all this. This
We
is
know
this
all
is
this.
old news. Like
This is
this
old
is.
news. I'm bringing it up more as just like a like the concept of gender is has been a thing within,
Mhm.
and like the representation of sex has been a thing in Alien since the beginning. Um,
Yeah.
so which is why I mention it more than anything else. But yeah, he's very interesting. I liked that conversation about the scorpion because I don't know if I feel like he's saying like no, we shouldn't kill it. I think what was interesting about it is that he kept asking questions
Yeah.
and let her come to like conclusions about it specifically. It's like, are you asking this because you're scared of it, that kind of a thing, or are you asking this because you actually want it dead, kind of? Because I think if she actually had turned around and been like, no, I want it dead, I think you would have been like, all right.
Yeah, that's fair.
I think,
Again, the whole you're not an animal
mhm.
um you're not supposed to be scared type
Yep.
stuff. Which all of the Lost Boys are fucking well scared.
Yeah, they're very, very, very scared.
Yeah.
Which yeah, great, and again, another great like little selection of actors. I really like everybody so far. Also, I was very excited to see Kit Young. I feel like I did know that he was in this. But I was excited to see him anyway because he played Jesper in Shadow and Bone, the Shadow and Bone
Right.
series. And I love Jesper, and I was just glad to see him working, getting and in something really, really good because he was one of the best parts of that series, for
Which one was
sure.
Kit Young again?
Jesper, he was the one with the guns and the hat, and he was one of the crows.
Yeah, so haven't seen Shadow and Bone. Which
Oh,
one's
okay.
Kit Young in this show?
I'm sorry. Yeah, context. He is he's the tall black guy with the afro. He was the one
Got
who
you.
stayed behind with the plant.
I got you.
And kind of was like seems to be the most scientifically minded of them all so far. Just based off of the fact that he was taking notes and seemed to be very interested in the
Yeah.
thing that he was like looking at in like a genuinely slightly logical way.
He barely react when the plant almost came at him.
Hmm.
Like it was scanning him. It felt
Yeah,
like a dish. Yeah,
and he was kind of like interesting and
yeah.
everything, and got annoyed about the fact that they wanted him to leave it behind because he clearly very like intrigued by it. And I'm like, yeah, no, I like him. I
Whereas like um the people who saw the devil cat
mm,
were not as, level-headed, let's say.
no, but they did still manage to contain it, which was
Yeah.
good. Um, and
That's a
I
freaky
do think that
design.
yeah, there is a spectrum of like fear going on because the not the red-headed girl, the
Hmm.
other girl that was there seemed to be a little bit more like actiony
Hmm.
compared to the redheaded girl who seems to be I mean, she comes across as the youngest seeming. I don't
Yes.
know if she actually was, but like she comes across as like the youngest of the bunch of them. But then also, was very much like I have a knife and I will use it.
Yeah, so the cat was, we mentioned it before, the eyeball octopus thing was,
Mm,
it lodged itself in the cat's eyeball and like walked it around like a puppet.
mm.
And then it came
Ratatouille
out,
him from the inside.
it ratatouille. Oh my God, I never thought of it that way, but like it's right. So the eyeball came out of the cat and went for the red-headed girl.
Yeah, her name begins with an N. I didn't really. I had.
Nibs?
Yeah, I think so. That seems right. I had the subtitles on because the first episode I just couldn't hear it from my laptop.
Mhm.
My laptop does not have the best speakers, and I was sitting there going, I can't fucking hear anything. Also, Disney Plus just puts everything so quiet on their
Mm.
platform. I don't know what it is. None of this is important, but I think it's Nibs. I think you're right. I think it's Nibs.
Yeah. They also got freaked out by the bugs. Let's talk about a little bit of the rest of the
Oh, that was
monsters right now.
horrible.
That gave me the creeps. That bit when it originally, which I went back and rewatched to make sure that I wasn't crazy. Originally, I thought someone had like fishing rodded the bugs down onto the people.
Mhm.
I
No, no, it just
I
had some kind of sack.
Yeah, and it was like a drool thing that it managed to like get down onto the people, and then like it did like a vampire sucky blood thing, but
Hmm.
then it pooled all the blood into its
Yeah,
own and made it like bulbous, and it was
yeah.
horrible.
It's really not nice.
It was really
It's
horrible.
it's really not nice. That I think probably was the worst one I've seen so far. I did not like that at all. I was very glad when it wandered off and they just sort of moved on. I was like, Jesus, I don't want to look at that again.
Yeah, but they didn't catch it, so it's gonna
Nope,
come
it's
back.
still out there, but like for the time being, I didn't have to look at it anymore, and that was fine with me.
Ah,
And then obviously the eyeball octopus thing, which is just a fun design, and I can what I'm appreciating at the moment is that so far everything we've seen has been quite little. It's
yes.
not they're like slightly more advanced organisms as opposed to the xenomorph, which still feels like it's the apex predator in the entire
Hmm.
scenario, which again is appreciated. I actually think that they're deploying it very well here because I mean, they've got the eggs. I couldn't quite tell if they'd like picked up the eggs themselves or if the eggs like were Um,
Yeah, I couldn't tell you that. Like they were in a storage container in the opening of the episode one, but
okay.
I don't know. They just seemed like they landed and in perfect like formation, and
Yeah.
then the blue laser film
Mm.
came on top. You know.
Yeah, I wasn't because like again, I don't know much about the alien lore, but wasn't it the th case in Aliens that like only the queen could lay eggs? Is that right?
Yes.
So it would imply that they'd sort of stolen the eggs as well and like taken them as but like as I was looking at them, I was like, but they look a bit like they've somebody like laid them there, which is the
Mm.
bit that I was a little confused by. Um but I mean, I don't know. I don't know
Yeah,
anything.
I don't know either. I mean, I think in the opening they did mention that they lost a bunch of crewmates on their mission. Yeah, they obviously they got the eggs on the
Mm.
ship. How they did that, you just got to suspend your belief a little bit,
I remember definitely seeing an egg in one of those containment boxes. It's the
Yes.
fact that the rest of them weren't in containment boxes is the thing that I'm like, what's
What's going on
happening
here?
here? But yeah, the Xenomorph specifically, in that second episode, like was used very well and very um gorily.
I really want to talk about the Xenomorph.
Mm.
I feel like we should leave it till the end though,
Oh,
because
okay.
it does logically come next, but I don't. I it's not like we're gonna end like a low with Joe slash
Oh
Hermit.
yeah, of course. I was like, I was like, who else do we have to talk about? Oh, Joe.
Joe,
I love Alex Lauter as an
yes.
actor. Everything I've ever seen him in, I've been like, you're fucking great. From fucking Black Mirror to Andor, and then if people haven't watched End of the Fucking World, they absolutely
Oh,
should.
it's so good, that
So
show.
good. A show that had a series that was so perfect, it was kind of like, don't make any more of this. And then they
Hmm.
went, we're making a season two, and we're like, oh, don't make a season two. And then the second season ended up being more
It was
perfect
great.
than the first season, and you're kind of like, okay, you did it. Good job. I'm very okay. Good job.
It was perfect. Perfect.
Excellent show. He's just great, generally speaking. And I felt. I apparently felt this so strongly I wrote it twice because I wrote it in the first episode and then I wrote it in the second episode, which again I watched like 3 days apart and I didn't realize I'd wrote it a second time until like almost the exact same way
Yeah.
until I looked up and was like, oh, I wrote this already. I'm just gonna say it again. Where I went, I love Alex Lauter and I hope he doesn't die too quickly. And then I went, Alex Lauter really is the go and I hope he doesn't die too quickly.
Well, you watched them 2 days apart. Come on,
Yeah.
like you can't
I
expect
still
yourself
hope
to
he doesn't die
remember.
too quickly.
Yeah,
I know
I
he's
also
just
agree.
been pushed off the side of the ship into the abyss by the alien, but hey, we as we all know, just because you've been got by the alien doesn't mean you're going to be dead immediately.
Yes, it happened in the second episode in a different circumstance.
Mm.
So, and I really want to talk about that. But let's go back to Joe Hermit. He is a medic in a
Hmm.
team
Hmm.
that works for Prodigy for like
Hmm.
the military, I guess. It seems like it's a military type
Yeah,
organization
like a
within
militia
Prodigy. Yeah.
is it basically.
He works with a bunch of red shirts. I didn't bother trying to learn any of their names. Anyone with a helmet is going to die.
I
Uh,
picked up on Siberian because she was the one with the cool locks, red locks. And she seems like she had some kind of I can't tell if it was actually antagonistic relationship or if it was kind of I
I,
couldn't tell if they were flirting. It was kind of like I was like, no, no, I can't read this.
I don't think she's dead yet.
No,
I
I don't
didn't
think so
see
either.
her
She'll
die.
probably come back. Yeah.
But most of the other people who went
Oh yeah.
in are dead
Yeah.
right now. But yeah, the ship crashed, the Maginot that we saw at the start of the thing, Maginot crashed into a massive tower block, a la Dread, Judge Dredd, Dread,
Yeah.
The- or attack the block. Attack the block is the exact thing that we should be
Yeah,
talking
you
about
know
here.
what? Yes, absolutely.
Um,
All that's missing is John Boyega.
Yeah, and Joe's there. He's not really happy about being there, but he likes being a medic. He wants to be a doctor,
Mm.
but he doesn't want to work for Prodigy anymore. He just wants to be a doctor. But evil corporations and all that
Well,
jazz.
here's the thing. it wasn't the evil corporation's fault this time.
Oh, that's true.
It was
Yeah.
Wendy's.
And
She made
it
him
was,
stay.
yeah, it was Wendy and Ice Age's fault. Yeah.
Yeah. I was not expecting Ice Age to be quite so much of like an important cultural point in this show, but like thing is it's something it was said in the Empire review that I read and I went interesting and then I watched it and went, oh my God, they weren't kidding.
Yeah.
It's like really important to the plot.
See, I feel like I'm missing out because I don't remember if I've ever watched Ice Age, so I have no idea what's going on with
I've
that sort of thing.
seen the first one a long time ago. Can't feel like I probably watched the second one as well. I haven't seen any of the later ones. But if that review is to be believed, and I'm remembering it correctly, I think they're specifically talking about Ice Age 4 in this one.
What?
I am gonna double check that before I put my
One eternity later.
a running gag from Ice Age 4 is unexpected. It's Ice Age 4.
Fine, fine. I'll just leave that there. But it's an important part of their childhoods. Let's
Yep.
say that it is. We all have things with sort of siblings.
Yeah. My little brother used to watch Hoodwinked on repeat
Hmm.
over and over again, and I hated it.
Yeah. We all have sibling stuff. It was on musicals for my sister.
That was me. I was the one watching musicals over and over again.
Mine was Lion King. So,
Well, that's Disney, you know.
anyway, yeah.
Anyway.
So Wendy has these magical powers, not magical, well, technological powers
Mm.
where she can interface with other machines and basically kept Joe near to her by keeping him in the Prodigy organization.
Yep. Which again is a very childish thing to do. It's that thing of like I want to keep you close by so I can keep an eye on you. But I haven't got a concept of like what it means to like let somebody go or like
Yeah.
let somebody like live their lives in a very specific way and all this sort of stuff. Which I liked a lot. I really, really liked that relationship. I found the little bit where he's asking her questions about like what did you say like on this specific day? And then the little bit where he just sort of like leans into her. I was like, oh no, they're really getting me to believe in this. I really, really like it.
That was
Played
cute.
very well by between the two of them as well.
Yeah, it was cute. I really enjoyed it, and like the way that it was revealed was funny because he's like, "What? What are you talking about? Are you talking shit?" And I was like, and then he's like, "Yeah, I'm your sister." Yeah, that was a secret though. But I mean, I am your sister. Transitioning a little bit into Xenomorphs,
Mm.
he may have the biggest plot armor that I've ever seen in a show.
Yeah, and I think this is why I've written it twice that I do think he's going to die. I just don't think I'm just hoping it doesn't happen too soon is my
Yeah,
big thing because I think it's very much a thing of like oh we're gonna have to he's gonna be in a lot of peril but I do think at a certain point he is gonna like either he's gonna die or she's gonna like sacrifice herself in some way because it is like this talk of immortality and I
mm,
think that there is something to be said for like her dying anyway
yeah,
considering the fact that like when we were introduced to her she was already dying and then like something about like embracing death being a very human thing to do. I'm not sure. I can see that being a thing anyway in some form or another. I don't know the specifics of it, but yes, he does currently have the strongest plot armor.
yeah. Like he probably could have died when the alien popped out the first time.
Yep.
And then the jump over the massive gap,
Yep.
he smacks his head and then falls down
Yep.
and can run straight away, which is great. And then the alien chasing him, and the lift doors just
Yep.
closing right in time.
And yet I'm not finding this unbelievable.
No, like
Which is funny because one of my big issues with Romulus, like as the movie went on, was that I felt like characters were making decisions that didn't make sense for them, and then they ended up in situations that I felt were like very contrived.
But
But
yeah,
like,
but that had the whole shouting down a fucking walkie-talkie in a room where you're supposed to be the quietest fucking thing in the world.
So dumb.
So dumb, it's brilliant.
No!
despite the fact that he seems very like cockroachy at this point, um, uh, I'm bought into him, and I think it's because I care about him as a character. There's like a level of like I'm okay with this sort of happening, But I also feel like the way that they've done it still it doesn't feel like it's not like he's making stupid decisions and surviving in them anyway. He just happens to be lucky, but
Yes.
also he does also feel like he's making decent decisions. It's like
Mm,
he's getting away. He's not like running towards things he shouldn't be running
yeah.
towards or anything like that.
And he's trying to get away. And then now we're in the Xenomorph thing because like
Mm,
the they did have a slightly one-sided fight in the party room.
mm.
But can I just say the way that the alien reveals itself in that corridor when it
That was
was
sick.
it was amazing. It's sort of like camouflaging itself against like a weird art statue, and then
Hmm.
it just sort of
Moves.
recoils away from it, and Joe's like, "Fucking run right now,
Like
mate."
he does it in the best way possible. He just goes, move. Just like move now.
Yeah,
He's the dude just like turns around and you're like, well, that's you done for
and
pancake time.
the alien got him with his little mouth.
Mm.
Oh, now y'all get back up inside me, little mouth.
Oh yeah, but then the alien fucking massacres everybody.
Yep.
Wowzers, there's loads of
Really
blood
satisfying.
everywhere. Yes. I know you're
Just
so superior. Just call him. He would have called me himself if I was in danger. It's fine.
like it's not even like I was like I really hate this guy. It was just like the way that they did it was just innately very satisfying to watch.
Mhm.
Because you got all of the like you got the sense of horror and gore behind everything. But like I also feel like nothing has been like done in a way that's meant to be like look how I mean there's been a couple of bits where it's like hey look how gross this is specifically
Mhm.
with that fucking
Cat.
spider bug thing and its blood
Yeah.
sack.
You.
Um, uh, but I do the stuff with and it even in the scene with Morrow where he's trying to get it in the elevator and they're all like, "Hey, you need to leave the building. What's in the bag?" And he's like, "Supplies.
Yeah.
Please calm down. It consents us. Well, shit. Bye."
hmm And then Rampage.
Yeah.
But like the Rampage at the end, like the end of that rampage, the alien does this really weird thing, and I would burst out laughing when this happened. It was like an abusive husband towards Morrow. Like it does some fucked up shit, and then again comes around to like Morrow and lays its head on his shoulder and go. All right, babe, I'll just be back after I've done all this stuff, and then I'm coming back, I'm gonna come back for you, don't worry.
I did wonder if it was because it couldn't quite get a beat on him because he's part ribbit. Um,
It's never stopped people like in ripping like ash around or
no, I guess not. I don't know. I
they
wasn't sure.
should.
I did wonder if it was like a level of like, well, you smell like you're like this one thing, but you've also got this other thing going on, and I'm not quite sure what to make with this yet. And I think if it had been like a second longer, or I'm not sure, but like there was an element of like, I feel like at a certain point it would have just gone, ah, I'll just kill it anyway. But
Mm. Maybe it was a sign of a little bit of respect,
mm,
like
maybe,
from a predator, because he did get bitch slapped by that gun, that alien.
mm.
Which again, if you've got that gun, where is it in the future?
Yeah,
That's going to
it
be the
does, yeah,
thing. Um,
it does
but
bear a certain question, but it also, no, because it is Wayland Yutani, so that
yeah,
doesn't thrown it out the window. Never mind.
it is an odd choice to have this OP like stun weapon.
Yeah, I did appreciate the fact that they didn't kill it though, because I was
Yes.
worried when it happened. I was like, no, like we can't get rid of it already. But like, no, it very much specifically was like it stuns and it can like contain. But I suppose it was probably the thing that was used for the
Original capture.
yeah, exactly. So it was like kind of made to capture life forms
Hmm
and bring them back alive. So I can kind of see the logic behind it, and you would understand why it wasn't in at least Alien specifically,
hmm
because that was not a research vessel, as you said, it was a mining vessel. So why would they have that?
Yeah.
It would be the kind of the other question. But I don't know. Again, I don't know enough about Alien to be able to make any real judgments.
Odd choice, but
Hmm.
like in general, Xenomorph been fucking great so far.
Very, very well done.
um, been the scariest motherfucker in the whole show so
Hmm.
far, imposing everyone apart from Joe and Morrow has basically died after coming anywhere near it.
Yeah.
Like it's been utilized really well,
Hmm.
and they aren't overdoing it because if
Hmm.
you start overdoing it and let people get away, then it becomes a little bitch, and we
Hmm.
don't want that. We don't want
Hmm.
that for a xenomorph.
I kind of like the idea of some like one person being able to like get away from it. Like, and I
Mhm.
like that being Joe.
Yeah,
Um, maybe just because I'm biased and
yeah,
I like Alex Lautner a lot. I really do. But yes, I do want to shout out Babao Kisei, or is it Cisse? I actually don't know how to say his name. But who plays Morrow because I think he's doing a really good job. He's very scary at times. He's got a very like he's got an intensity to him that I'm like, oh, oh boy.
yeah. But
Um,
he can get a sweat on as well.
yeah, and apparently he can in fact get scared because I didn't entirely believe that was possible in the first episode after like he kind of locks himself in the um computer room, I guess. I don't really
Yeah,
know what that room was specifically, and then he kind of just blowtorches the door shut.
yeah. And then
And
locks
then just
himself
like
in a panic
yeah, and he's like,
cupboard.
this is fine. I'll get him
Yeah,
and all this other stuff. I think the moment I think it's almost like that moment where it made its way out and it was like it's fucked again.
yeah.
Oh no.
It's got me this time. Oh shit. I think that is the end, unless you've got anything.
The only other thing I wrote was like this fit very much is a corporate horror story wrapped up in alien fuckery.
Yes.
And I said that they're there to meant to be a tool. They're not evil. They're just animals sort of killing things. Which feels like it's the most reminiscent of the original film.
Right then, shall we go on to our ranking?
Oh God, I forgot that was the thing we do.
We do a ranking. Sorry, Katie. Yeah.
Uh,
Okay,
what is
I'm
it?
gonna rank it as a whole,
Mm,
um because like as a whole, this is like a feature film debut for the first bit with obviously loads more parts. Because if I rank the first one, I'm with you.
mm,
It was too long.
mm.
It was an hour and 5 minutes. I was like, come on, just you could have broken this up a little bit more because
Mm.
you know it's Disney Plus and you know you're gonna have a half an hour episode later on. Actually, it's
Yeah.
for FX, so maybe it's not. We'll see. I really enjoyed this. It's a really solid start. Um, I would go for like an 8.5, I think, right now.
Mm.
I haven't done a lot of complaining about what's going on.
Nope.
But that doesn't mean it's a perfect show. I just really enjoyed it, my time.
Hmm.
So I think 8.5 is it's a good start and it's room to grow.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think I would agree. I think I'm trying to think because I think if I were to put it in them individually, I think I'd say first episode an 8 and then the second episode an 8.5 because I think there was a marketable improvement. And both just in it like the vibe and also the length and also like all these bits and pieces I was like, oh, I'm sort of bought into this, but I do think that this has the potential to have me like really sitting there going, oh shit. Oh shit, that's really fucking good. And I don't think we've gotten there yet.
Yeah.
So I gotta leave space for that to happen at some point. Um, I hope anyway. Fingers
I'm
crossed.
I'm waiting for the big corporate like push and pull between
Mm,
Utani and the Prodigy
Prodigy.
group. And maybe some other people if they find out that there's some like IP waiting to be scavenged
I
from this
do
place.
I think that they're doing a very good job of keeping it small.
Hmm.
Like there's enough carnage going on as it is. I don't think that I'm less inclined to believe there's going to be another element introduced.
Hmm.
Um, unless something else like falls to the wayside. But I also don't see that happening. I think they've done a lot of setup for a lot of things that are gonna pay off well. At least I hope.
Yeah, I think there's space for an introduction of a new batch of red shirts from the Utani group.
Yeah, I can see that.
Because you need some more people, apart from like the people who are just dumb and haven't evacuated the tower, you need some more people that things can kill. So,
Hmm.
you know,
Yeah, I have a feeling the next episode is going to be a little bit more like finding the xenomorph in its lair, kind of a like and a sort of thing.
I honestly thought you were going to go finding Nemo after all
Yeah,
this talk
finding.
crazy.
We're gonna go find Nemo. We're gonna bring him home. No, I think it's gonna be nest time basically. I think our old friend the xenomorph is gonna go off and find himself a nice little cave to set himself up in and wrap up his food for later.
Yeah, why not? He's had quite a lot of food so far. You might as
Mhm.
well take a bit more.
We also haven't seen any moving face huggers yet. We have seen the face huggers in jars,
Mhm.
but we haven't seen them pottering about and eating people yet.
Yes, and I'd like to see some moving face huggers. I don't. That doesn't mean I want to see more xenomorphs.
No. I do think that with the eggs, there's a feeling of like we might get some.
Mhm.
But I don't think I'm less inclined to believe that we're gonna get like Romulus levels of aliens running around,
Mhm.
because then at a certain point, yeah, you're right. It's just like
Yeah, it
we don't.
switches the tone of
It
the
switches the
show.
tone.
Right now, it's a tense what's going to get them thing. If you get like 4 or 5 like xenomorphs, you know what's going to get them, and again, we're in that xenomorphs become a little bit
Boring.
loserish as well if they
Yeah,
can't get the main characters.
yeah, for sure. And it's doing such a good job of being so deadly right now. Um, yeah. So I'm hoping that we don't like get too like. I'm very intrigued by what's going on with those eggs because it did look like it was gonna open, and I was really, really not. I
Yeah.
was really worried about that.
I mean, they could swerve us and do it and start splitting locations as well. Like they could recover some of the stuff and Neverland Ranch
Mm,
starts to become overtaken by something as well.
yeah. Yeah, I've really no idea where it's gonna like at least on like a larger level. I don't know where it's gonna end up. I do think on a personal level, one of the two of them is gonna die. I just don't know which one it is.
Interesting.
I do think the more interesting one is Wendy dying, personally.
Because she's not supposed to be able to.
Because she's not supposed to be able to, exactly. And I think that suddenly brings up interesting questions about the state of mortality, which they're already kind of um suggesting.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I
Cool.
don't know.
All right, I think that's us then. Thank you for watching and listening to our show on Alien Earth, watching now on Couch Soup. If you like this, do the like, subscribe, comment on our stuff, um, argue with us if you want. If you don't agree with any of us, then just put some trolly comments in and we might bite. We might,
Maybe. Who
maybe.
knows? Who's to say?
But for now, we'll be back next week with another episode of Watching Now Alien Earth. Thanks very much, everybody, and goodbye.
Goodbye.
I don't think I've ever recorded in the daytime before. You can see it.
It looks like an alien invasion is about to like take place.
Yeah, I mean, they're just chilling out there, waiting
Yeah.
for me to be done on this
They've
call,
gone
and then
blah, and then they're gonna
and then
go
they'll
full
get
close
it.
encounters and on the whole thing.
Yeah.